Hello. So today I'm going to be doing an overview on Hildegard. I was asked a few questions about her stones, and I think that you can't really answer those questions because it's always going to be dependent of a setup, of a team, of something. So I'm going to do a little overview about her. If you've seen my posts on the forums or another bunch of my videos, you're going to know that I'm a highly light team. So I have a high hatred for all mono thunder teams, and she's one of those players. She can be run in Rainbow, but that's not where you're going to want to run her. So if you look in the top right, her position is in front line and in mid line. I have basically never seen her in front line. I'd say her place most commonly is right mid. So I mean, it's not perfect, but it works. That's where she's usually seen. So on a skill perspective, before we even go on the skills, there's just something I want to point out that is, how to say, very unclear about her, that a lot of people are not going to notice. They're going to say, why isn't it working? She has actually, you can't see it here because it's level 1, but she has, compared to a lot of 5-star players, a shitty reflex value. This is important because that actually means you're not going to be building her on reflex, but you're going to try to build her on counterattack resistance. Same thing that I was explaining earlier on a video on Michael. So, skill-wise. So, what's actually nice about her compared to most cards is she's going to have a very high damage rating. All her skills are based on that, and depending on your stones, you might even be able to higher the damage even more. So first, her ace, increased attack power 25%. It's a rainbow ace. It's very bad. Don't get it. I'm just pointing that out there. So her first active is going to be a pretty decent penetration with increased attack power 90%. Then we're going to have remove safety device. Increase critical damage 60%. I swear to God, I wish that stat was on a striker and not someone that's supposed to be an attacker. But, you know, we never always get what we want. Then we got Blue Devil, who's also pretty nice. Inflict 20% of damage to the action bar of the enemies within the position with an attack. In fast version, if you got a fast line, a fast team, she's going to be making them even slower on the other side. So her last skill is going to be increase critical rate by 50% of an attack. The keyword here is with an attack. So this is the skill that is, how to say, you're going to try to higher it, but your main objective is stone-wise, get a high crit rate enough so you can put it back down to 3. So your build is usually going to be 5, 3, 5, 5. And when you can get the crit rate high enough, you're going to take 2 out of this and you're going to put them back in safety device, increasing your crit damage another, I think, 20 or 30%. So now, stone-wise. Actually, those are some really good stones. So again, depending on how you're building her and who you have in your line, this will be a little bit different. So what I'm personally going to advise is following a very simple build. I'm going to say in the dark slot, put a dark action speed. As I said, low reflex, so you're just going to want to stack that counter attack resistance. Then in the thunder slot, you can throw a thunder crit in case you just don't have that crit rate, as I said previously, or a thunder penetration to more take advantage of the fact that you can destroy the action bar and that penetration would even heal your own. Now, it is really up to you, thunder crit or thunder penetration. Depending on what uniques you're going to choose, you're going to be able to make a more informed decision. And then for the light slot, I'm going to really say we could throw in some sort of light dribble. Why? It's going to increase her damage. She's damage based and it's going to heal her. So that's really what I'm going to be pointing out when you're trying to build her. And for that prime slot, I'm actually going to be pushing again a dark action speed. If you have someone on your line giving you a good counterattack buff, and when I mean good, I mean really good, like anavn level, you cannot put a dark action speed and instead throw a thunder penetration. Again, that gives more damage, it gives action bar, but again, one thunder penetration, one action speed, already a good combo, so I'd say action speed in that case would be superior to penetration. But it's really up to you. Those are the ideal stones that you're going to be playing between. You're not going to be throwing any reflex stones on her, so don't even look into that. Those are the stones that you're going to be completely ignoring. Instead, that's why you're creating counterattack resistance. So, in a way, for that light rare reflex stone, that red reflex stone, you're going to have more for your other players. Now, on the legendary stone aspect, I'm going to say there are only really 3 good options. So again, these really are going to affect your other stones. So just keep in mind what I explained previously, and it's going to be pretty easy. So the very first one, the most obvious one of them all, is going to be Shaking Heart of Thunder. Again, she relies on critical. So that's why you're going to be pushing towards this. It's a pretty good stone. I'm sorry if there's any technical difficulties at this time. Yeah. So it's a very good stone. And it's going to be able to really complement her passives. Now, in case you're not running this one, what's going to be pretty nice is always going to be to run a Fontus tissue sample. Because that's actually going to be... Wait, it's not this one. They actually look really similar, I gotta admit. They were kind of lazy on this. It's going to increase dribble and counterattack resistance. In my personal opinion, this is the best one. Because if you've got this one, you can actually, it's going to be more efficient than having 2 dark speed stones in counterattack resistance, or basically the same. And you can stack 2 thunder penetrations, a light dribble, and that's going to make, in my eyes, the best you can get stone-wise. Again, it's up to you, but this is my personal favorite build for her. And if you don't like Fontus Tissue Sample, there's another option. I'm not going to advise it, but again, it's up to you. It's Metatron's will, because again, it plays with action bar. It's going to increase your crit rate, so you can play with those skill points. Now, let's go back to her. On a chain level, she's actually pretty good. Now, this is a 4-star, but it's pretty common in Thunder teams. It's not really what's so important. A Bell rivaling. Let's be honest. She will be used in Thunder teams or against people with a Bell. Because Bell might be one, or actually is one, of the best midline players currently in game. So if you own her and it's a 1-player chain, it will activate. Guinevere is very common in frontline. So especially with the passer nerf, she's going to be... And to finish, we're going to have this one. I cannot show you, but it's basically 4 legends and a Vitos. So I know there's a Kirill, I know there's a Duke, I think there's a Leviator, and another one is an Andor. And then there's a Vitos. So again, this one you're not going to activate. I mean, it's a 4-legend chain. The chances of you using this chain are microscopic. The day you actually get it and max it out, it will always be active in PvP endgame. There is no way that they're missing 5 legends in their team. I mean, let's be honest, there are 15 legends in the game. That means 1/3 of the legends are in a rival links. It's just gonna activate. Now on a skin level, there has been previously an event where we could receive this skin. So it's a pretty nice skin. A lot of the community has liked it. I sadly did not get it, but then again, I honestly don't want to use her, so I don't feel so bad. But if you have it, it's a pretty nice buff. I find it kind of cute. It was very well drawn. It's nothing against the person who made it. Unlike certain specific skills, like the new anavn skill, who I actually just hate altogether. On a basic skin level, the standard one is nice. Evolve, I don't really see a big difference. I feel like she just got tagged a bit everywhere, so it's not that attractive. And the last one's pretty nice, makes you think of some sort of giant mecha warrior. So, what would you be using her with? Most commonly, you're going to be throwing her in a mono thunder team for one simple reason. They have thunder-only totems. So one great one of those would be, for example, with an area and backline. The exact reason of this would be right here. Increase max hype and defense of Thunder players. Thunder has a lot of those, so if you really want to bring out her potential, you're going to need to take them out. And if you want to put her in a rainbow team, she will a bit underperform compared to a Thunder team, well actually clearly, but she is still viable. She doesn't require those buffs because she's just going to be a damage beast, but on the long term, it's actually going to hurt her performance. And then I would say maybe look into something else, like a Victoria, a Michael. Those would actually be more interesting, because they're going to be buffing the line in more interesting ways. But again, she does have synergy with many players that play with Action Bar. In my opinion, the player she would have the most synergy with, kind of ironically, is Metatron. Because if both were to attack, they'd reduce the Action Bar by 30%, and if you put some sort of speed totem in the line, they're basically just going to be chain gunning the attacks. So I hope this has helped people understand exactly how Hildegard worked. And if you have any other question or any other request, just leave a comment or message me. Have a good day.